Hello friends, groovy chicks and hip cats. Welcome back to the Jazz Ranch. And we've been away for a while. You know, the horses talked to us here and they told us to take a vacation. Why don't you take a vacation? So we went down to the Caribbean and we had a good time. Now we're back and miss you guys, so I have a new video for you. This is an analysis of Someday My Prince Will Come. It's a little bit advanced, so if you're a beginner you might want to skip this one. But I have a couple of quotes for you that are very interesting. One is from Bix Beiderbecke, and he said, "One of the things I like about jazz, kid," and he was talking to some kid, he says, "I don't know what's going to happen next." And I think that's very pertinent. I think that's true. And also a quote by Mose Allison, he said, "The essentials of jazz are melodic improvisation, melodic invention, swing, and instrumental personality." So I think those are very true, and I'm going to take those up in this particular video. You know, the alto dominant man, he went off to Newark again. I think he has a girlfriend down there. It might be the alto dominant ego girl, but at any rate, he's not here. So we are going to now move right into Someday My Prince Will Come with the analysis. Here we go. starting out, I want to talk about the two quotes and how I applied them to how I approach this song. First of all, the Bix one, where he said, one of the things I like about jazz is I don't know what's going to happen next. In other words, I didn't predict what I was going to play. I didn't write it out or plan anything. It was strictly ad lib. And the other thing about Mose Allison was saying melodic invention. Now that just means that I'm taking the melody as written and I'm changing it. And what I'm doing is I'm putting my own ideas and personality into it. And that's what you want to strive for, is the melody is like this. So it's like rather simple. So you can do a lot with it. You could go, well, I played this. I played. Now, I also use the left hand, and the left hand complements the right hand. So they're sort of a unit, you know. And I'm going to break that down for you in the next segment. But I want you to understand now, continuing. I did this. I'm just looking at melody now. Then I did a fill here. And I did this. That's a descending in thirds. Part of it is a diminished scale, and then minor scale, and then another diminished scale. So that is how I was interpreting it up to that point. First 16 bars, in other words, the melodic invention aspect there, you can hear that, and that's just something that comes from you in your own experience as a musician and in living life and so on. So we'll continue now. I'll try to break it down with some details. So now this is the beginning of this song. I'm playing free. In other words, I'm not playing in a tempo. I'm not playing any specific technique. It's sort of minimalist. In other words, it's very simple. It's not stride or any of that, you know. It's just, so I just doing the minimal amount of things necessary to get the effect. So then I go, putting the root here. Now a lot of times I'll put something other than the root, but I put the root there. Now the A chord augmented, A7 augmented is the next chord. We start with an F, 6, 9. Just voicing it like that. See, that's all it takes. It has the 9 in it. There's the 5 here. And then the A. Now I don't always play the bass note on the first beat. I might play it after the melody. So sometimes it's before the melody, or sometimes it's after. It could be like, or it could be, you know, before or after. So that's important. Then I did this voicing up here. Now that's really the A7, but it's kind of like a segment of a chord. It's just the 7th, the 3rd, and you could think of it as the sharp 9, I guess, really. There's your 3rd or your chord. Then I put the bass note down here, the B flat now, B flat major. If you're following the score, you'll understand this better. Now an arpeggio up to the chord. Now that's a good technique to be able to arpeggiate and then get the chord in there. See that? I use that a lot. You'll see that. So I'm just going 1, 5, you know, 3, 7, then up to the chord, and then I put the fill, melodic fill here with a D7 flat 9 there. So there you have your segmented chord there. There's another arpeggiated move in the left hand. Down to the bass note, the D. Now up to a, now I voice that as a D7 sharp 9. You know, you have the major 3rd, the flat 7, the sharp 9 there. And then I go to the flat 9 like that. It's really pretty sounding, I think. There's another segmented chord, a G minor. The root isn't in there. It's a rootless chord. But then this line comes in. Goes to the C13 there, and then I'd make a flat 9 there. So I have a 9 to a flat 9. All these things that are happening in the left hand are complementing the right hand, either harmonically or even melodically, like. sort of like a counter melody. Now here I'm going to like do a tenth, but I'm going to roll it like this. See, now I'm rolling it from bottom up. Now when you have a problem with tenths, that's what you want to do, is you want to just roll them like that. Because you really want, as a solo pianist, this is a solo piece. It's not, there's no rhythm section, so I'm all alone here. And so I roll it. It's a rich sound, plus it enables you to play it more comfortably than just laying it down. Now here's a melodic fill. Then I went to this chord. Now the reason I did that, the real chord is this. That's the actual chord, is an A flat diminished, but what I played there was the double diminished, which means I'm stacking diminished chords. I'm stacking this one. Why am I doing that? Well, it's a signature Bill Evans sound. In other words, it's all the notes that are missing in the diminished scale here. Like if I were to play the scale, I'm taking the notes that are missing like that and putting them up there. So it sounds, it's really like a tremendous dissonance, but it's a beautiful dissonance, I think. Then I took that up a half step and then back down again. Another arpeggio on the left hand. Now here's this fast run, or more complicated run. It goes, all it is a run on a G minor chord. Now, like I said, this was not planned out. I was just improvising off of my ears. It's what I hear. So it's more difficult for me to write this out and figure it out than it is to play it. Now I have the F, another arpeggio or 10th here. That's the F chord with the A in the bass. And then here we start this Bill Evans passage. There's your diminished. Hear that rub on. And then here, G minor 11. Then the C7, which is another diminished, C7 flat 9. So you have two diminished chords in there. There's the A flat diminished, G minor, and this is like another diminished chord, but it's a C7. It could be like an E diminished, but that takes us to the midpoint of the song. We'll continue. So I want to review the chords now, the chord names and the voicings for the first half of the song. So that's an F major with added ninth, then that's an A7 augmented. There's your augmented fifth. This is an interesting chord because it's like playing a B flat sharp 11 with a major 7th. Then there's a D7 here, which is flat 9. Then I played a line. G minor 9. There's the 9th there. Now here's an interesting chord. It's built on a D, so it's an augmented in the melody, but I played a sharp 9 here. That's the sharp 9, root 3rd, flat 7, sharp 9. Beautiful sounding chord. And then this 3rd there in the melody to a G minor 9. Then I take it down to G minor 9 with a major 7, down to a C9 there. And a C7, flat 9. Here's the F chord with the A in the bass. And then A flat diminished. I played a double diminished there, actually, like that. G minor 11, melody is the 11th. Then I played the F again. This just repeats. The interesting thing about this, the A flat now, diminished chord is a descending resolution to G minor. And then this is an altered dominant, like a diminished scale, on an altered dominant chord, which is a C7 flat 9. Takes us to there. So interesting how diminished chords can move either up like that, or move down like this, or like that. So that's interesting to note. So the important thing is to realize that these types of chords are rootless in a way, but yet I'm putting the root in there so that they really have clarity as to what they are. Otherwise they become ambiguous, you know. You don't know whether that's an A flat chord or it could be a D chord, you know, it could be a variety of things. So putting the bass note in and then maybe having some connecting notes and then to the chord is a really good technique, I think, for this style of a song. Now the second half of the tune is a little bit different, and what I do is first chord is F major 7 again, or F. I played it that way with the major 7 on the bottom like that. Interesting sound. But then the next chord is not an A7 augmented like that. It's actually a B. I actually played a B7 chord with that being a sharp 11. See, it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, sharp 11. This is what Bill Evans plays. The first time he plays it as an A chord, the second time is a B chord. So they're both approaching, whether it be the A7 is approaching the B flat or the B7 approaching, they're approaching from below or above. So you have that capability now of being able to choose between the two when you improvise or how you play this song. I like the B7 happening the second time through for variation. So, like, you know, rather than playing just a repeat of what you played before. And the same thing continues now. Instead of going to D here, what I do, I went to A minor sus, which is similar to the D, but a little different. And then I was able to move down to the G minor chromatically like this. See, so that's the difference. First time it was A7 to B flat, then to D. Now this time it's F to B7 to B flat to A minor, and then approaching down a half step to the G minor 9. Rest of it is similar. Now here it changes, like this could be thought of as a second ending. So there's the 5 minor, C minor 7 to an F7 altered now. It's altered with what I used there is an augmented 5th. Then this chord, now there's an augmented 5th played against a major 7 chord, so it's a B flat major 7. It's beautiful. I mean, this is the way the melody fits with the chords. So there. Now that there, you could be either a B minor to E7. I like to play it as an E7 with a flat 9, like that. And then I play this line. Descending line goes like this. And I play it like with a pedal tone in the bass here. And that pedal tone gives it sort of a suspension and also suspense. What's going to happen? What's coming up? But it's leading you to, that pedal tone is leading you, creating a strong pull to the next section, which is back to the 1 again. And now I'm going to vary the melody and some of the things I'm doing with the left hand. So that last passage with the descending line here was setting the tempo. So I'm actually setting, it's just like A minor with a C. I have a pedal tone now. That's called a pedal tone when you're playing, I'm playing the 5, the 5th step of the scale, the 5 there. Creates sort of a suspension or also suspense to take you to the 1. Now here I'm in tempo, like Now the tempo can be dictated by the right hand or the left, you know. In this case it's more in the right because I'm doing things in the left that are off the beat. So like so there's the melody. I'm just playing root and 5ths here, root and octave, then I put the root in there, then I put the root in there, then I put the root in there. So I'm playing just simple things in the left hand. Now here I'm diverging from the melody. That's a run on the G minor chord. There's the major 7. There's a on the minor, that's the augmented 5th on the G minor. The turn around and turn into the 5. And then I have this run up the scale. Mixolydian. That's a C7 scale, taking me to the F chord with the A in the bass here, and I'm doing the arpeggiated movement in the left hand. One interesting thing about this is I'm trying to duplicate what I played, and you never really can duplicate exactly what you played in another experience. It's like what the Bix thing is all about. You don't know what to expect next. In other words, you want it to be that way in jazz. You want it to be free and in such a way that you can just play how you feel in the moment, you know. So I would play this differently every time. Interesting thing about that is Bill Evans played, a lot of his arrangements were duplicated. They were very close, the same almost, exactly the same, except for the soloing, of course. But if you listen to Waltz for Debbie and then a Second Take, or any of his songs they did second takes, they sound very much alike, which means that he worked out every detail and played them perfectly every time, you know. So that's interesting. Now the next thing is this scale. This is a super Lohengrin. It's not that difficult to play once you get it, because you're going to go, that's the fingering. So now it has in it, it's a dominant chord, like a sharp 9 and flat 9, but with an augmented fifth, which is a great way to take you back to a 1 chord, which we're really playing a 1 chord next, but it's with the A in the bass, so it's a first inversion. I play it arpeggiated like that. So C7 sharp 9, like that. Then the diminished chord, the A flat, play a line there. See, now I don't want that. I want that diminished scale. I want that scale. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Better as a flat 9 there, you know. It's right up the G minor scale. It's really like that's Dorian. Mixolydian. Then we can put that flat 9 in there. Sounds better, actually. And then here's the last part of the song now. So what I'm showing you in this first video or analysis video about Someday My Prince Will Come is what I did with the free section, how I got into tempo, and then what I did in the second chorus to vary it. In other words, I'm not exactly improvising yet, but I am I'm embellishing the melody, and as Mose Allison said, in other words, I'm interpreting it. I'm improvising on the melody, so it's melodic improvisation in a way. For this last half of the second chorus, do some things that are different. I just put the octave in there, so the left hand has got some movement in it, like that. Just arpeggiating now this on the B flat chord, down to the D7, then up, so descending and then ascending, like that. Okay, so I'm just, notice in the left hand how I'm doing things like that. I'm outlining a frame of the chord, in other words, root, third or 10th, and then the third here, again, an octave lower, and then approach the G minor. It's a good way to maneuver through chords using important tonalities within the chords. And then I did something different here. Instead of going to the D7, I went up a half step to an A flat minor. This often happens in jazz, where you go up half steps or down half steps. You know, you do these like that sort of thing. It's the same idea. This is G minor up to A flat minor. So then on the A flat minor, on the G minor, I did this. I did this turn. I said like 1 and 2E and a 2E and a 3 and. You have to be able to count it to understand it. 1 and 2E and a 3 and you have to be able to play it slowly to understand it. So there you go. I did this with the accent on that note. Let's up the scale again. C7 scale or Mixolydian. Now here's the last part of the song. Now that's the 5 minor, and that's the way I voiced it. I could have voiced it like that, and I went down a half step. It doesn't work as good. The voicing I used worked better. Like that. Then to this, that's the E7 chord now. This is good movement up, ascending and then descending in scale. Ascending in skips, descending in scale. And the left hand is always off the beat. It isn't like, it isn't right on the beat. It's like on the beat maybe in the first measure, but then it goes off the beat. So this, it swings better when the left hand is freer. You know, it isn't like just playing metrically. It's playing off beats and on beats. Back to pedal tone, descending, a little voiced a little bit differently, but now I'm into the solo, and that'll be the next video. The next video, or part 3, will discuss the solo that I played and some of the devices I used and what I was playing and so on. And it's a lot more difficult, I find, to play something and then try to write it out than to do the reverse, which is to write out an arrangement and then play it. So this was an interesting experiment for me too, and I hope you liked it. Please write to me, and I'll wrap up. Signing off, I just want to say thanks so much for joining me on this version of Someday My Prince Will Come in the analysis. And I'll be taking up the analysis of the solo later on in the next video. Perhaps not the very next one, but after that. So please join me then. And please write to me if you got anything out of this or you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll say in the words of my great friend, Hermie Dressel, who was an actual person. He was a record producer. Friend of mine, and he always said when he left, he said, swing loose, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.